Stock market just hit an all-time high. Unemployment is near a historic low. GDP is growing. And you just checked your bank account and felt your stomach drop. So which version of reality is true? Is the economy thriving, or are regular people quietly getting crushed? Here's the uncomfortable answer. Both are true at the same time, and that's exactly what nobody is explaining to you. Imagine you're in a room with 100 people. 3 of them just had the best financial year of their lives. Their portfolios doubled, their homes jumped in value, their businesses hit record profits. The other 97 are behind on something: rent, car payments, credit cards. Now someone averages everyone's financial health together and announces, "The room is doing great." That average isn't lying, but it's not telling the truth either. That's the national economy right now. A small group at the top is doing extraordinarily well, and their gains are pulling the averages up in a way that makes the whole picture look healthier than it actually is for most people. Economists call this the K-shaped economy, and once you understand it, every confusing headline suddenly makes sense. Picture the letter K. One line goes straight up, one curves down. Both start from the same point. That point was 2020, the pandemic. Everyone took a hit. Then the recovery started, and instead of everyone climbing back together, the economy split into 2 completely separate trajectories. People who owned assets, stocks, real estate, investment accounts rode the upper arm straight up. Asset prices surged. Interest rates crashed to near zero. Anyone already holding wealth got a massive passive boost. People who relied on wages took the lower arm. They went back to work, got small raises, but the price of everything they needed, groceries, rent, gas, insurance, rose faster than those raises ever could. Same country, same time period, 2 completely opposite financial experiences. That's the K. And right now, most people watching this are on the lower arm, wondering why the official numbers don't match their actual life. Here's what inflation actually did that nobody explains clearly. Between 2021 and 2024, everyday essentials, food, rent, energy, healthcare went up roughly 20 to 25% cumulatively. Not in 1 year, stacked up over 3 years. Meanwhile, the average wage increase over that period was around 12 to 15%. Think of it like a treadmill. Inflation is the belt speed. Your salary is how fast you're running. For the last few years, the treadmill has been moving faster than most people can keep up with. And here's the part that stings. When inflation pushes up home values and stock prices, asset owners actually benefit from the same force that's hurting wage earners. They don't feel the treadmill at all. In fact, the treadmill is carrying them forward. That's not luck. That's the structural advantage of owning things versus working for things. There's one number that cuts through all the noise and tells you exactly where most households actually stand. Total U.S. credit card debt recently crossed $1 trillion, with average interest rates sitting near 20%. People aren't doing this because they're reckless. They're doing it because the gap between what things cost and what their income covers has become too wide to bridge any other way. Debt has become the silent shock absorber for millions of budgets. And while regular families pay 20% interest on that debt, wealthy investors can borrow against their assets at 3 or 4%, using cheap money to buy more assets that generate returns. The system charges you more the less you have, and rewards you more the more you already own. So what do you actually do with this information? You stop playing by the rules you were taught, because those rules were designed for a different era, and you start learning the real ones and put everything else to work. Rule 2. You don't need to pick stocks. A simple, low-cost index fund gives you ownership of hundreds of companies at once. The wealthy have been using compound growth for decades. You can access the same engine. Rule 3. Tax-advantaged accounts. A Roth IRA or a 401k or an HSA are not complicated. They're legal structures that let your money grow with dramatically lower taxes. Not using them is leaving real money on the table every single year. You can't single-handedly change the tax code or fix the housing market, but you can make sure you're using every tool available to move from the side of the K that earns to the side that owns. That transition doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with a decision, and it starts now. Here's the bottom line. The economy is growing, just not evenly, and the gap between people who own assets and people who depend entirely on wages has been widening for years, quietly, structurally, in ways that most financial headlines never bother to explain. You're not imagining the squeeze. You're just seeing the version of the economy that doesn't make it into the highlight reel. The good news: Understanding the system is the first step to navigating it, and you just took that step. If this made something click, share it with one person who needs to hear it. And subscribe if you want to keep going deeper. I'll see you in the next one.